Hi, besties. This is your Psychic Besties podcast, a show dedicated to people like us who are spiritual but not saints. We're Alana and Allison, two psychic millennials with over 20 years combined knowledge and experience to help guide you on your spiritual path. You can follow us on Instagram at Your Psychic Besties Pod. Thanks for listening.
Hi, besties. We have a special guest with us today, Kelly, the magical medium. She is a psychic medium, an influencer, an author in the making, and is currently co-starring in a reality show called Whispers from Spirit. So we are super excited to have Kelly with us today. You can find her on Instagram at Kelly, the magical medium. And yes, we are super excited for this episode. Alana and I have both actually studied mediumship under Kelly. So here we are.
Hi, Kelly.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. The fact that you guys are my students and you started this podcast, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm very excited, so excited to be a part of it. So thank you for asking me. I'll do anything for you guys.
Oh, you're the
Aw.
best. Yeah. Okay. So we're basically doing like a rundown on all things spirituality, like the kind of 101 stuff. So, of course, for our mediumship episode, we wanted to have the best medium that we knew and
Aw.
our favorite one. So, thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
so
thank
much.
you. Thank you for
Okay.
taking the time to do this with us.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So, the first thing that we're going to ask is, when did you realize that you were a medium?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. When I was a child, I was just telling my son about this the other day. My son he's a big part of my life. He's on my social media too. So we have this beautiful thing going. We're awakening everyone and it's really, really fun. But when I was a child, I knew I was different, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what name I would be categorized under, but I did know that I was having interesting psychic things happen, but I didn't know what that word meant at the time. And I would have continuous out of body experiences every single night when I want to say from when I can remember 3 years old, 3, 4, I would float around my house and it was the most peaceful experience. I felt so blissful and it was very relaxing. And it was so strange because when you're a child, you feel that it's real, and it was real. But I would tell people I could fly. I would honestly tell my friends, I would tell my family, I would try to fly. I would run across the yard and try to fly. And I'm thinking, why is this not working? Why does it only happen at nighttime? And so when I was a kid, I just knew something was different and unique with me. And it wasn't until my grandmother passed away, which tends to happen when you lose someone when you're older, it triggers that psychic mediumship abilities. It triggers your awakening. And I'm a hairstylist too, right? So I started sensing things with my clients, knowing things I shouldn't know. It would freak me and my clients out. We had no idea how I knew this information. And it was details. It wasn't just vague. It was very strong. Here's an example. I was working on my client who I haven't seen in a really long time. And I was like, so how's your camping trip? How was it? And she's like, how did you know I went camping? I was like, oh, social media. I probably saw it on social media. She goes, Kelly, I don't own a social media and I haven't seen you in a long time. There's no way possible you should know. I just went camping. I just got back today.
Wow.
So it started off with
Wow.
psychic information, and then I started sensing their past loved ones with them. I would see them, not as clear as I see you guys, like people, but I would see them very vivid in my imagination center. And so basically, yes, the passing of my grandmother is what really brought it to life.
Wow. Okay, so
Mhm.
then that kind of gets into, what would you explain that being a medium is like? Do you feel like that's something that you like turn on and off now that you know what it is? Like you could tap into it more and then kind of like close the door when you want to?
Yes, as well, I've been doing this for 10 years. In the beginning, it wasn't like that. I would be going to Subway, going to the gym, going to the grocery store, and I had spirit bombarding me constantly, wanting me to pass
Mhm.
messages. It would feel like anxiety, like the feeling of anxiety, and it wouldn't go away until I would pass that message. So spirit, it's like the boundaries, you would think they're high vibrational, they would have boundaries.
Right.
Mhm.
But no, they want to reach out to their loved ones. They want us, we pass the message for them. They don't have the voice that we have here in the physical form. And so I've passed messages at the gym for people working out, and it was very intimidating. And so there's a big responsibility that comes with this. And I always ask for permission. I don't just go and tap into their energy. But this one particular time, I hope you guys like stories. I was on the
We love a good
elliptical.
story.
Okay, good, good. I was on the elliptical and there was a woman who popped into my mind. It was a grandmother energy. And I turned around and I knew who it was for. But I was like, I told the grandmother in spirit, I'm not doing this. This is not, I don't feel comfortable. He's working out. I'm sweating. No, I'm not doing it. And she made a deal with me. She goes, okay, next Saturday, if you see him again, you have to pass the message for me. And I said, well, I've never seen the dude in my life, so I won't see him. And Saturday rolls around and she's the one who pops into my awareness, not him. And I knew, and I turned around and guess who was right there? He
Him.
was right there. And I knew I had to honor that. But how do you go up to someone who could be skeptical, could be completely weirded out by this situation at the gym with, hundreds, whatever people in the space throughout the whole entire gym? But I did it. And I asked him, I said, do you mind if I pass a message? I'm a medium. He's like, what are you, a spiritualist or something? And I'm like, well, not
Mm.
exactly, but I do feel an energy. And so I brought through his grandmother and I brought through evidence, and he was so blown away. Now here you have this guy working out at the gym, sweating, lifting weights. He was almost in tears. He said to me, he hugged me. He's like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is amazing. I have to call my mom. I can't believe this. So he was so moved by the situation, and that confirmed it for me, because I'm like, okay, fine, spirit. I will trust and surrender to you. I will be the voice for you. So yeah.
Spirit picked the right person to
Yes.
deliver these
Yeah.
messages.
They always
And yeah,
do. They always do.
and that's funny because I feel like that is like the biggest, I want to say, like the biggest thing as you evolve in your mediumship practices is to learn how to set boundaries with spirit and like live in that medium, no pun intended, in that like medium space where you're in
Bubble.
between spirit
Yeah.
and again, like in your physical reality, where like, are you just going to go up to some random guy in the gym while he's pumping iron and look crazy?
Oh goodness.
I always
Yeah,
wanted
that
someone
was
to do that to me. I always used to see that on TV and I'd be like, why doesn't anyone ever come up to me with some kind of magical message? So I would love it. But I know some people are like probably weirded out, right?
yeah.
Have you ever had a bad experience where someone was like, I don't want to hear this. I don't like this. Or they're always
It was
like
one
pleasant.
time. One time. I told Spirit, I said, if you're ever going to make me pass a message, if you're ever going to make me pass a message in public, you better make them okay with this. Because if
Right.
I come across someone who is not okay or super offended, afraid of me, I don't want to be a part of that. So
Right.
yes, one time. And it was it was in the woman's bathroom. You guys, it was in a woman's bathroom. And there was a woman who, she was older. She was probably like, I don't want to guess her age, but she was older. And I felt a husband energy with her. And I told her, I said, I feel an energy around you. Do you mind if, I'm a spirit or a medium? I connect with spirit. Do you mind if I pass a message? She didn't say anything. She looked at me like I was a ghost.
Right.
And she was like, and then she goes like this, and then she walked away. So it wasn't bad, but it was interesting.
It
And it
wasn't
was in
as
a
well
bathroom.
received.
It was in a
Yeah.
woman's bathroom. Like, I get it. I get it.
How
Yeah.
ironic
Yeah, I know,
that it was
right?
in the women's
In the
bathroom.
bathroom, the subway. Yeah.
All right. So, our next question: what are some signs that a person actually has mediumship abilities?
Oh, this is a good one. I want to say first and foremost, as you guys know, everyone is a medium. We all have the same anatomy. We have the pineal gland. We can all connect. it's our birthright, right? So people think, oh, am I a medium? I wonder. Well, I would say natural medium. So how to tell if you're a natural medium is if you love watching mediumship shows. You're so intrigued by Tyler Henry, Teresa Caputo. You can't stop watching it. It makes you cry. You're connected to it. Okay. Number two, you have very vivid dreams and daydreams. If you're the person who gets lost in your thoughts, in your mind, like a child playing, and when you wake up from a dream and you're just like, wow, that was so strong. I felt it with everything, questioning if it was real. And then also, I would say feeling empathy towards other people. So if you naturally are an empath and you feel for other people's emotions, or you can feel their emotions as if they're your own, right?
Right.
So think about it. You live with, so and so, and if they're in a bad mood and then you feel like you're in a bad mood, you're picking up on their emotions, right? So being an empath is a huge indication as well. So I'd say those are three strong indications that you're a natural medium.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
You guys resonate?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean,
1000%.
I'm just kidding. I know you do. I know
yeah.
you do.
Well, we were always obsessed with, mediumship and all that, but we weren't sure exactly how to tap into it. It's like we did, and we got our own messages in our own way. But then when we took your class, it was like, this is the way to actually get from point A to
Right.
point B, like
Yeah.
the proper way to do it. So anyone that's interested in Kelly's class, if you think you're a medium, please take it because it's really life-changing.
Aw.
Yeah, it definitely
thank
helped
you.
us to, and I can say us, I could definitely speak
Yeah.
for both of us. It definitely helped us to really evolve, like that gift that we were born with and our natural born abilities. Just really taking it to like another level of being able to
Exactly.
tap in and receive messages.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I love teaching. That's my
Yeah.
passion. I said, so we have this show that we're doing, and fingers crossed, where we have huge producers behind us and networks. And I'm like, even if I'm like, somewhat, I'm not in it for the fame, as you guys know. I'm in it to spread the message. It's honestly, I walked away from fame when I was younger. I was a singer and I was signed to a major record label and I walked away on my own. So it's not even about that. It's about spreading the message. But I said, even if I'm like this big time, TV person, like Teresa Caputo, I'm like, I want to teach people to connect with, their past loved ones. Because I love it. It's so much fun to do that, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever want to stop doing that no matter what.
And you shouldn't.
No.
Yes, agreed.
I love all my students. It's like we become best friends.
We really
know?
did. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
It's like such a deep connection, right? Like such a multi-dimensional level that
Yeah.
we interact with each other.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree.
Okay. So I have another question. Now, this is for people that maybe they're not mediums or they don't think that they're a medium, but what's a sign that your past loved one is with you?
There's so many different signs, and they can be subtle signs, but they can also be very, very deep. And I'm going to tell you my personal sign. First of all, before we did this call, there was this beautiful bird that just caught my attention, literally right in front of me on a tree, and it looked like a cardinal. And past loved ones will come as everything from nature, birds, butterflies, flickering of the lights in your home, through other people that you meet who say certain familiar words that maybe your grandmother would have said. Different scents, like perfume. When I smell the certain perfume, it's my grandmother, because she always comes to me with the scent that she smelled. Like you resonate with that too.
Yeah,
The scent.
definitely.
But it's interesting because they can do all of those things, right? But they can also take it a step further. And so right before I did my first mediumship reading years ago, before I learned how to use my own abilities, I was driving in the car questioning. I was scared. I was nervous to do a mediumship reading. I'm like, what's going to come through? I'm so nervous. And I remember driving, and there was a big sign the moment I was thinking about whether I wanted to do it or not. And it said my name in big bubble letters. I was like,
Wow.
that's
Literally a
weird.
sign.
A sign,
Yeah.
literally a sign.
A sign of a sign.
Yeah.
It doesn't get signier than that.
Exactly. Right. It's like you
So-
can't ignore that.
Yeah,
It's in
because
your
it was
face.
right in my face. Yeah. And so I was like, whoa. And I was like, okay, that's strange. Okay. And so we get to the restaurant, right? And there was a waiter who was young. He was young. He goes, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Rudy. What can I get you? Can I get you any drinks? I was like, that's my grandfather's name. How does he have the same name as my
Wow.
grandfather when he's young?
Yeah.
Nobody has the name Rudy
Right.
as a
Not
young guy.
common.
His name was Rudolph, but we called him Rudy. Well, my grandmother did. And that to me, back to back, it happened back to back. And I said, you know what? This is too evidential, too strong to pass. I'm going to do the reading. And I did. And I'm so grateful I did, right? So it's like we will get signs and symbols from spirit in all different ways if we're open and receptive to it. I didn't call myself the magical medium for nothing. Like your life becomes pure magic when you believe in it. It does.
I can attest. It's so
Yes.
true.
Yes. Yeah. Do you have any stories yourself that you could think of, like synchronicities?
Well, you said birds. That's a really big one for me. Like whenever I see a hawk specifically, that was my grandfather's nickname, right? And he passed when I was like 18, but he was like a father to me, right? And whenever I've been going through, like since he passed, whenever I went through a hard time, I would see a hawk, like an actual
Oh,
real hawk. And there was like a time period where I would see hawks every single day. And I would see
yeah.
hawks on the ground right next to me. They would fly like right in front of my windshield of my car. And I'd just be like, that's my grandfather. Like I know that that's him.
Oh,
So I
so
resonate with the
sweet.
bird thing a lot. And cardinals, yeah, I definitely think too, that's another messenger. Those, because they stand out so much. It's like you can't miss it. It's like that red bird
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like no matter what, you could spot it. Like they want to
It's a
make
very
themselves known.
spiritual, yeah, very
Yeah.
spiritual bird. When we were in Hawaii, so my grandparents always wanted to go to Hawaii. They always talked about it. And when my mom, my twin sister, all of our kids, my brother, all the relatives, we all actually went to Hawaii. And the most craziest thing happened. So my sister, my twin, she is very adventurous. She loves hiking through the mountains. And so she went on this hike, and there was nothing, no trees. It was just the mountain. And there was one tree with two red cardinals. And my grandparents always came through as red cardinals. So they were there, and it was a female and a male red cardinal.
That's so beautiful. How
Wow.
do you know the female versus male? Is there like a different
Because
color?
they're different color. They're slightly different. Yeah. We looked it up to see. My sister took a picture of it.
Which one is like the common red one? Is that the female?
I believe I feel like it's the male, like the super red one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what would be the odds that you would see two cardinals,
That's
Zero.
the,
you
and
know,
then,
like
yeah, representing
together?
my grandparents, and they were coming through in mediumship readings as cardinals, so it all made sense.
Cardinals for me is also a big one. That's my aunt who passed away when I was in 7th grade. And also I want to say for as long as I can remember, it's always been numbers.
Yeah.
Right before I really started to like live in my truth and like tap into my gifts. You know, I guess, and like, I'm not going to say public, but really just again, living in my truth, I would
Yeah.
always see the number 17, like it was in my face all day, every day. And like, I couldn't really, I was like, okay, whatever. I keep seeing 17. But 17/4/17 is my grandmother's birthday. And she's
Wow.
actually the one that I, you know, got this gift from.
Oh,
Yeah. She
that's
wants
so
you to know
sweet.
you can thank
Yeah,
me
she
for
does.
this.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting because there are family genetics of having a disposition to being extra psychic and in tune and spiritual. Myself as well, I received my gift from my grandmother. She was always known for being intuitive. So my uncle, he's a big time music guy, singer. He wrote Eye of the Tiger from the Rocky movie.
So
He
cool.
admitted to me, he's so cool. I love him so much. He's got purple hair. Well, he now went natural, but he wears purple glasses. He told me, he goes, your grandmother was always so intuitive. Everything she said happened. It came true for his life in particular as well. Every song that she thought would become a hit, everything. And so he goes, you know what,
Wow.
Kelly, I see your grandmother in you. I see you have the same spiritual abilities as she did. You're so intuitive. And that's why, because he would always tell me things and trust me and ask me questions that I was like, oh, I'm just a kid, but I'm very honored that he's asking me these things. Well, it's because he saw the same thing in me that my grandmother has as well. So I thought it was beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing. I love spiritual genetics because that's why I'm so connected to my grandmother. I will cry. I'm surprised I'm not crying right now. I'm holding it together, but every time I even talk about her, I will cry. The drop
Yeah.
of a dime.
I know that feeling too.
Yes.
That's part of our empathetic nature too, and sensitive
Yes.
nature.
Yep.
Just thinking about the person, it's like it brings you right back to like just being with them. So
Yeah, you can
I
feel
get
it.
it. It's so
Yep.
healing to connect.
Yes, it is.
So that leads me into dreams. I know that is a hot topic and could be a whole episode in itself, but what are your thoughts on dreams and past loved ones that visit you in your dreams?
That's a big one right there. Past loved ones visit you in your dreams a lot of the time because you are a natural medium, number one, but also because you are not, you are in a different brainwave state and they're able to come through without our ego blocking it. It's a very natural state of mind where you are in theta and you're very receptive towards energy, spirits, even out of body experiences, your relatives visiting you. Because a lot of the time when we are functioning in our everyday life, we are too distracted. We're in a completely different brainwave state to be receptive towards spirit, right? And so they will come to us in our dreams to pass messages to let us know that they're okay, to remind, memories and just the emotions of feeling and seeing them and sensing them. And if it's a good dream, that's a visitation. If it's a bad dream, that is just your own mind, your own ego. Yeah.
isn't that the best feeling when you wake up and you got a visit from someone you love that passed and it's like you really felt like you were with them? It's the best feeling. I love that.
It is because you feel, like you mentioned earlier, you feel everything, like the energy of them being present, and they really are present.
Yeah.
It's just a thought, right? They're just a thought away. So even if we think about them out of the blue, that's because they're there next to us. They're visiting us at that moment.
I love
I
that.
love
Now I'm
that.
gonna cry.
Oh,
So my
That's so
aunt
beautiful.
that passed away, like I said, when I was in seventh grade, she really is like one of my main spirit guides, and we're so connected. And she had a very hard life, while she was on earth. Like she passed away from cancer at 39, like very tragically.
yeah.
But she's the only actual picture of a relative that I have on my altar. Like I have like my grandmother's mass card, but I have her picture cut out on my altar. And like she came to me and was like basically telling me that she wanted her own altar. Like I just kept getting that feeling, but I
Yeah.
couldn't bring myself to take that picture away from my altar to like create a whole nother altar. So I created something else like closer to like on my nightstand. And since this was a few weeks ago, since the day that I did that, she has come to me in my dreams almost every night.
Really?
Wow.
Which is wild.
That is wild. That is amazing. It's so interesting. Spirit, you would we would think they're so high vibrational. But they still have needs. And I feel like it's because they know what we need in our hearts as well. So they want to honor that. So people ask, should I, so sorry about that. They ask questions. Did I do the right thing? Did I honor what they would have wanted to do? And typically they don't care. It's what you feel comfortable doing, but they know what you feel as well, without even thinking about it. So creating her own altar creates her own space, which brings her closer to you because the energy is stronger. So if you have her
Exactly.
jewelry, if you have her necklace, if you have anything that, her picture, things that remind you of her on that altar, that is going to create like an energy, even a crystal, it's going to bring her closer to you.
Yep. And it did.
That's amazing.
Now she has 2 altars, her own,
Right.
and she's still part of the collective altar.
What was her sign?
Yeah.
I'm curious that she.
Capricorn, January 5th.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I have a question now, Kelly. Okay. So you have obviously a big following on TikTok and Instagram. So you get a lot of positive feedback, but then you get the crazy people that tell us, what we're doing is, evil or A, B, and C. So what's something that you would want just everyone to know about mediumship and what we do and something that they don't understand of how it's not negative in any way?
It's interesting because I was a part of the Christian community before I started understanding my own gifts. And I understand, where they're coming from, but at the same time, hold on one second, a motorcycle music. I don't know if you guys heard that. But here's the thing. I had a lot of Christian friends, my twin sister, even my husband, and it was really hard to announce that, hey, listen, I can talk to the dead. I am talking to dead people. I'm having psychic things happen. It wasn't even a conscious choice at the time. It just started happening. It wasn't something I could even stop if I wanted to. And once I started to open up, trusting and surrendering to go down that path of, okay, listen, this is, I have to explore this. It won't stop. I'm going to honor it. It was the most beautiful experience. And my twin sister, my husband, all, some people though, they turn their back on me, and I understand that's their own fears, that's their own perspectives. I get it. People have to do what they're comfortable with. But they would see my stories on Facebook. They would see my videos that I would share of me doing mediumship readings, of connecting with a child in spirit or someone's husband or wife or, grandmother. And it was very moving and healing. And they saw it for their own eyes. They almost had to watch it, experience it, to understand it. And I just feel like a lot of people don't have the idea of understanding because they hear these things. It's evil, it's bad. Even yoga, guys, even
I
yoga
heard that.
is considered as bad. Like
LOL.
it's my son. Yes, LOL. My son was like, Mom, yoga is good for stretching. It's good for your body. It's good for your physical body. How is it? How are people seeing this as evil? And in my perspective, and that's the thing, like I've seen stories, and I don't want to kind of go all into it, but they're like, but I was attracting negative things. No, they're guilty conscious because they mentioned that they were very guilty. They felt guilty doing yoga. And so we're going to attract more negative energy if we have, anger, guilt, inner trauma that can happen. Right? Guilt is the lowest vibrational frequency. But as far as the community of thinking it's evil, sometimes they trigger me. A lot of the time I get past that because I know that they're in a completely different world. They're in a completely different universe. They have different perspectives as we do.
Right.
And we all are living in a cluster of different like people, right? So you have your Christians, you have your even like we had someone knock at our door the other day to give us a pamphlet on what is that religion?
Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness. And my son's like, Mom, what is that? I'm like, oh no, they're just, a spiritual, religious group. And so think of all the religions in the entire world, right? Everyone thinks their religion is the correct one. Here's the thing. I honor whatever they want to do with their lives. And it would be nice if people would see the healing behind, mediumship. I think it's a very healing. Yes, it's so healing for all of us. It could potentially save our lives, prevent illnesses in the future by taking that stress off of our bodies, knowing our loved ones are okay. If they take their own lives, right? I've had mothers come to me crying, I want them to be in heaven. I'm like, listen, they're in heaven. I promise you this.
Right.
So,
I don't know how people twist that into possibly being anything negative, but again, like you said, that's on them.
Yeah.
Their own kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see like the initial like conflict of interest, like from the Catholic girl that I am. But again, it's like I feel like you hit the nail on the head with the fact that what we do is healing. It's high vibrational. It's portraying good into the world. helping people to raise their vibration. So that's the part that we see that most people don't see. They think we're going against something, like we're going against God or we're doing something evil, which
if this
couldn't
is
be
not a
further
gift
from the truth.
Right. If this is not a gift from God, then I don't know what is.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what, we say all the time. This is a gift from God, and we all have this beautiful gift. And, whether people think God is a single, consciousness, or if we're all connected to it, it is a part of that. And it's, when people live in the life of resistance, it makes life a lot harder. So we have to trust and surrender to everything that we experience and be open to it, right?
Right. Exactly.
Trust and surrender.
Yes. Well, Kelly, thank you so much
Yes,
for
thank
coming
you.
on today. It
Oh
was
my
so much
gosh.
fun talking to you. And we're so excited to see you on the big screen TV soon.
Don't forget the
You guys
little
are the best.
people.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are not little people. You guys are like, trust me, like we're nobody's a little person. We're all here for a reason, right?
Yes. Well, we appreciate you so much.
Yes.
And thank you so much. And we're so excited for you and everything
Thank
that you're
you.
doing.
Yes,
I love
thank
you guys.
All right. We love you
You guys are the
too.
best. I can't wait to see you guys again. Okay, anytime. You just
Okay.
ask.
Thank
All right. We'll
you.
talk soon. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Your Psychic Besties podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Your Psychic Besties Pod and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Psychic Besties Podcast. Join us next time for more straightforward and uncensored spiritual guidance. Love, your hosts and besties, Allison and Alana.